Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So now we are going to study about the notation of the F distributions, and we're going to study about some facts regarding the F distribution. Okay, so this is what we are going to study. So I would do out one thing, I would just take out a color here so that I could put on the heading. So here goes the heading, that's my notation for F, and here goes distribution. Okay. So distribution. Great. So here we have the notation for the F distribution. So we'll be seeing that how we denote out the and how we just put on the F distribution. What's the notation for that? Like what symbols we use and all those things. Okay. So yeah. Here what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up writing out here the notation. The notation for the F distribution. For the F The notation for the F distribution is, what's the notation for the F distribution? That is F approximately equal to F. In the denominator we have df, that's the degree of freedom. Here we have numerator. Okay, numerator. Right here putting out a comma, and again we have degree of freedom, and next we are having here the denominator, denom. Fine. So this is how we are having out here the notation for the F distribution is F approximately equal to F df, and basically F df we have here the numerator, and for F df again, for that df again we have the denominator. Fine. Now what are these particular things all stands for? So let's start writing out here. So I would start writing out here that where df num, the degree of freedom, and the num is basically the numerator. Okay, degree of freedom numerator is equal to df, and here goes the between. Okay, and what about the denominator which we are having? Let me just get down here, and degree of freedom, that is df denom, denom, that is basically the denominator. So the degree of freedom denominator is equal to df within. Within is one another type. Remember we had deal with the between and within both, right? So in that similar case I have this df num, that is equal to df between, and df denom is equal to df within. Okay, now next we are having regarding the mean. So the mean for the F distribution, the mean for the F distribution is, now what's the mean for the F distribution? Let me get down here. The mean for the F distribution is mu is equal to d, we have here numerator, denominator, df. Okay, here the f as well, df numerator divided by df denom, that is basically the denominator, subtracted by 1. So this is the basically the formula for the mean for the F distribution. That's, again I would repeat it out, it's mu is equal to degree of freedom numerator divided by degree of freedom denominator minus 1. Now next we are having that what are the facts about the F distribution, right? What are the facts regarding the F distribution? So I'll put on the now heading again here. So that goes facts about the F distribution. So here goes the heading, facts about the F distribution. Fine. So I'm going to take out again one of the colors here so that I could proceed on with the writing. Great. So now we will be discussing about some facts about the F distribution. So it start out here. So the very first one is the curve, regarding the curve. Okay. So the curve is not symmetrical, the curve is not symmetrical, but is skewed. The curve is not symmetrical but is skewed to the right. So it means that the curve which we are having here for in the F distribution, that is not symmetrical, but it is skewed towards the right. Okay. Moving forward, we have number 2, and that is there is a different curve. So there is a different curve. There is a different curve for each set of ds, that is there is a different curve for each set of degrees of freedom. Okay, coming down, we have the next point, that's the third point, or you could even say that is the third fact, right? Whatever you fish out. Fine. So for the number third, what we are having here, for the number third, we are having that the F statistic is greater than or equal to 0. So the F statistic is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, this is the next point. Next we have number 4 here. So next fact goes that as the degrees of freedom for the numerator, I will just put on like this. Okay, so as the degrees of freedom for the numerator and for the denominator and for the denominator as denom like this. Okay, as the degrees of freedom for the numerator and for the denominator get larger, the curve, let me get down here. As the degrees of freedom for the num and for the denominator, for the numerator and for the denominator get larger, the curve approximates the normal. The curve approximates the normal. Fine. So as the degrees of freedom for the num and for the numerator and for the denominator get larger, the curve approximates out the normal, right? This is another fact regarding the facts about the F distribution. Fine. Now, what do we have? I would say we have a sort of graphs as well here, which helps us to display out some information right here as well. Okay. Now, as I mentioned about the skewness of the graph and everything, let me take the cursor in hand and I would, 1 second, right here. Okay, I told you that the curve is not symmetrical but skewed towards the right, right? That particular thing I mentioned to you. So it means that the curve which we are having, that is not symmetrical. The curve which we get out as an output, that's not at all symmetrical. Okay, it is basically skewed towards the right, as towards the right direction. It is skewed a little more. Okay, so for each and every set of different degrees of freedom, for each and every set of DFs, we have out a different curve. So as soon as the set of the degrees of freedom values change, and in that particular case as well, the shape of your curve will as well change out, right? So hope I am pretty much clear with all of these particularly things which I mentioned regarding here for this particular F distribution, right? Hope I am clear with the facts and even with the notation as well. So now we'll be meeting in the next video. So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care.